Welcome to the Purposeful Talk podcast, and today I have the infamous Blessed By Bri right here with me, and today we're just gonna, give her flowers, man. She's been doing a lot as far as helping other people with their spiritual connection and stuff like that. She definitely tells her story and very transparent. Like, she shares stuff that I wouldn't even share by myself. I'll be like, girl, you going deep. So, but she knows her purpose and stuff like this. So today we definitely gonna dig into that, and we're gonna give her an opportunity. Tell us something about yourself.
Well, I'm 29 years old. Recently divorced. I've been divorced now for a little bit over a year. I have a 9-year-old daughter. Been a hairstylist for the past 8-9 years. So I'm trying to transition from that to doing something else, entrepreneurship. But yeah, that's like a little bit of my backstory.
Okay, cool. That's good. Yeah, so here at the Purposeful Talk podcast, we mainly talk about like your purpose and how you got to where you are. And the goal for us here, we're just trying to figure out like how people find their purpose, and when they do find their purpose, how did they basically perfect their craft that like you've built your whole brand on your own, to my knowledge. You went from probably hundreds of followers, you got 7,000 or something like that. You built your brand and stuff like that. And I think a lot of people don't have a lot of transparency as to how did you get to there and how long it took and stuff like this. So how did you first find out what you do is a passion of yours?
Okay, well, for starters, what I do is I guess you can say I'm a tarot card reader. I don't like to just say tarot card reader because it's so much more than just tarot cards. But that's the main thing that I do. I do personal readings, also collective readings as well. But basically, for me, kind of how I got into that field was my divorce. My mom sent me I think it was a YouTube video of a lady doing a reading, and when I was listening to it, I was like, this sounds very similar to what I'm dealing with right now, to the exact T. So that's kind of how I got pulled into it. On top of that, I've always been into astrology, but being raised in the Christian church, a lot of my people that I grew up around will always tell me don't get too deep into the astrology, don't get too deep into the numbers, don't get too deep into that. So I always get pulled away from it, but I've always enjoyed it. I've always, every morning I wake up and read my Bible verse, and I wake up and read my horoscope. That was my little routine. But like I say, over time people kind of deterred me away. So going through the divorce, it kind of just, I don't know, shook something up inside of me to bring that back into alignment. So that's kind of how I got back into spirituality. Really just going through a life-changing situation, that I didn't expect to happen.
So I feel on that. I think when you do find your passion, it does normally happen when you're going through your own life-changing stuff. It's it comes at the most unexpected time. It's the same thing for me. It happened randomly. I was going through a lot too, and then I figured out life coaching was for me. So it's definitely I can relate to that a lot. But it takes a strong person to really pursue that while going through that.
That's true.
That's one of the things now, especially in society, we see a lot of people going through trials and tribulations, and they give up and they stop knowing what they're doing, and they lose momentum. So for you, what is that keeps your momentum and stuff? I know you have your daughter and your family and stuff like that, but what are some other things that you would say keeps you motivated?
Honestly, I've never been diagnosed with depression or anything like that, but just self-diagnosed. I feel as though dealt with seasonal depression. It'll come and go until I guess maybe last year, maybe 2020, 2021. I don't know, it's my outlook, I guess, on things. My mindset kind of just changed as far as not feeling as though I was the victim of everything.
Man, it's huge. Victim mentality is so real, man.
Yes, and I don't think a lot of people realize that they are in that mentality until you just kind of take a step back and be okay, am I gonna just sit here and say why me all the time, or it's always my look, or just no, change your perspective, change your mindset. So I think honestly that was one of the first things for me was just changing my perspective, because I always felt as though I had bad luck. I always say I just got bad luck. That was my mindset, and I think I kind of had really made that happen because I said it so much, So with me changing that and just being mindful of my words, just being mindful, that's another thing I do. I started doing daily affirmations. I have sticky notes on my mirror, and that was just a way to just see those positive words. I always tell my clients, I know it's easier said than done, but whenever that negative thought come in your mind, just try to remove that negative with a positive. So, example, as far as I would say, if I don't have money to pay a bill tomorrow, instead of saying I won't have the money, I got the money. I'm gonna get the money. I'm gonna have it. So just changing your mind, your mindset, your perspective.
Yeah, I feel you on that. It's definitely like a big thing. Like do you feel like once you change your mindset to more of a gratitude mindset, you change to like lineage of what's gonna happen.
Yes.
Like I feel it's a big thing. Like especially us being from Memphis, it's like a lot of people have that victim mentality, and it's like they blame everybody for everything, and they don't forgive and stuff like that. And then you look at your life, and it's like you 60 or 70, you 50 some years old or whatever it is, and like you never change their mindset or was grateful for what you had. Like instead of being mad at their family member, embrace their family member. Like at least I got my cousin. Exactly. Or at least my cousin is here, or my grandfather, whatever it may be. Like I think that gratitude is huge perspective that people should adopt, and you live in proof of that. I am too. Like gratitude is one of them things that really can change your mindset. Like you said, like when you can't pay that bill, like okay, well the money coming or the money on the way. Like it's coming in the next couple of days. Like it's definitely a huge thing. I've been following you for a while now. I've seen your story. I know you posted and like being transparent about the divorce and all of this stuff. Like when you were going in those like transitions in life and knew that you was gonna like embark in that journey and stuff like that, like what made you overcome it? Like initially knowing that you like, oh my gosh, and then like what pushed you to like, okay, it's something at the end of this tunnel and I know it's there, like I just don't know how I'm gonna get there. Like what was there for you?
I guess honestly with my marriage, I've always been, I guess, like a hopeless romantic, looking for love in all the wrong places. And like just going back to what I was saying as far as like not being a victim mindset, changing my perspective, really changing my outlook on a lot of things. Just realizing that I know people look at a divorce as like a failure, like, like that's something you're not supposed to do. Like, you get married to somebody, you stick it out, you stay with them. But it's like just realizing that, just really realizing, trying to understand people, really. Me just taking time to understand myself really allowed me to understand people so I can give people more grace. And just realizing too that just because this didn't work out with this one person, that doesn't mean I lose hope in knowing that, somebody out there better is not for me. Like I just look at it like if I lose something, it must wasn't for me. I know God has something bigger or better in store, so if I lose it wasn't mine in the beginning, type thing. So that's kind of, I guess, looking at it like me not like, I guess, falling into that depression of like, going through the divorce or just, going through the motions of like, losing that connection, just having hope, that I know, having faith, that God got something better.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's definitely right about that one. Yeah. That's one of the biggest things, like having God there and He's there even when you don't know He's there. Like you're always here, and that's one of them things. Like I tell people sometimes, like imagine have like a huge bodyguard like behind you everywhere you go. Like if you think of it that way, you won't have in them situations where it's like, oh my gosh, like that won't happen. Like, hey, I got you. Like all you need is to feel that hand on your shoulder. Hey, I got you. Those moments definitely help, and it definitely help you just process life in general.
I was gonna say, even with you saying that, like even as far as like we live in Memphis, of course it's crime everywhere, but it's more so here, going on a lot here. But just even knowing that, like you say, having that protection behind you that you can't see, it's like I know I'm safe, even though I'm in a cruel world out here. But it's like I know that I got protection. I know that God got me, so it's like I really don't have to physically defend myself because I have that spiritual protection behind me.
Exactly, like them guardian angels, all that stuff. Like when you think about it, you travel from here to home and home to work and all of that. Like all of them times you're driving, like those are all instances where you don't have control. Like everybody around you to drive, responsibly and not hit you, and people don't have insurance. Like it's just knowing that their protection is there always. Like safe travels and all of that stuff. Like the passages that are outlined for us, we don't know. We don't know, but they there, and we get proof of it every day.
That's true. The small things.
Yeah, the biggest thing. Yeah. So when it comes to like your purpose and you doing what you do and stuff like that, like. And to get to where you are now, like what advice do you have for people that may have just found out that they want to be a spiritual leader as far as you, and as far as spiritual leadership go, like that process of like the time it takes and the effort it takes, like what advice would you give to the 15-year-old to just find this out about themselves?
It's this lady that I follow on YouTube. She always uses the term, some are called, some are sent, and some just went. And honestly, I think it's just about knowing your lane. Just knowing your lane, because everything is not meant for everybody. I've noticed that with everything, honestly. When something is a trend, it's like everybody tends to gravitate towards that trend. And it's like, okay, just because everybody's doing it doesn't mean that it's meant for you. And I really feel like that's just, like I said, that's with anything. Just knowing your lane, knowing for me, I realized that this was my purpose, my passion, when I realized that I could do it for free, when I could do it without getting paid. Yep. And I really feel like that's when you know that when you're called to do something, you'll do it for free. Like it's not about the money. You'll take the money out of it because it's something that you truly love to do.
Facts. Exactly.
So for me, that's when I knew, like, okay, this is something I really enjoy doing. If I can do this for free, this was what I meant to do.
That's dope. It's dope. It is very dope. Like I thought, Chris Paul, he played for the Suns now, but he did his documentary one time, and he basically was telling them, like, he was talking to the kids. He was like, hey, like, if the NBA wasn't paying me to play basketball right now, I would do it anyway, because I love the game in general. Like, I just love the game, and I think there's a huge piece of it, because we live in a world now where money is the underlier of everything, and if you have a passion and a purpose, the dollar sign is not going to matter, because you do it anyway. Like, if you do it, like, I've been doing this for 10 years, I've been helping people for a while without even knowing the monetization of it. Like, I just started doing content and stuff like that, right? But like, I was doing this before this even happened, and when you get in those zones, you just be like, okay, cool, that's cool. But then you see other people that's definitely motivated by that, and but if the results of the money don't happen for them, they just stop, or they give up, or they don't keep pushing forward, or they'll put themselves in a situation where they like betting bigger on themselves. Like, they put themselves in a situation where they stressing themselves out even more. Like, I had to tell one of my friends this the other day. We asked him a question, and then he was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. I said, man, you already put that on yourself. Like, you could have had somebody else fund this. You could have had somebody else seed money, do this stuff. Like, you have to think outside of like putting your stress on yourself, because if you do it and then it don't work out the way you want it to, you have to completely rely on yourself. And but it's power and partnership too. And we live in a society where people don't want to do that either, because like, well, I don't want to do this and I don't want to do that. But at the end of the day, if you do have purpose or passion, just go for it. Like, that's it. Do what you got to do. Even if you're getting 1 view or 2 views, like, I know she's been through that. I've been through that too. Like, people probably not going to look at it, right? Or you may think they're not, but when you go somewhere, like if you go to work or whatever, and somebody said, hey, I just saw your reading, Bri, and man, it just touched me. Or, person, I just saw your video, like, it just touched me. Like, those are the things that bring us, like, dang, like, we got the job done. You know what I'm saying? Like, you hear that, you be like, okay, cool, like, I'm in the right track. Because when you look at the numbers, the analytics, you be like, what's going on? And then it make you be like, man, well, let me just stop, or let me chill on it. But no, like, it's people out here that's doing this stuff and continues to do it because this is what they love to do. You can't beat anybody who loves to do something.
Exactly.
You can't beat that. You can't. If somebody tell you right now, I love to play basketball, I love whatever it is, you can't beat them compared to somebody just starting out. Like, if somebody loves real estate and they been dreaming about it since they was a kid, playing Monopoly. This is the basic way to start real estate, right? I love Monopoly since I was a kid. That person, when they become 30 and they got 5 or 6 properties, you're not gonna be able to have this same type of job because that's not your passion. And understand whatever your lane is too.
That's it.
Like, whatever your lane is, just embrace it. If your lane is to do, spiritual content, take it. If your lane is to do motivational content, do it. If it's makeup, hairstyle, lashes, whatever it is, just embrace it because it's gonna eventually like show that it's yours. Like, this is you. Like, this is what you do. You know what I'm saying? And when you try to copy people, like, this is the big thing too, like copying people. I know I'm going on a Kanye rant, but it is what it is. Like, this is the purpose I talk to Scott K. We're gonna talk about purpose. I'm getting on y'all today. But I'm just saying, man, you look at this right now, like, you know what you are good at. You know that. Like, ask yourself, what is something you've been doing since you was younger? Then go from there, and then you just ride from there. Like, that's you being genuine to yourself.
Yeah, yes.
You be genuine to yourself,
yes.
everything is fine.
Yes.
And the clout chasing, all that stuff may happen or may not happen, but just know that you be true to you. You're fine. Those deals gonna come, those partnerships gonna come. Like you have to actually put yourself in uncomfortable situations. That's what I started doing. I started to reach out. I reached out to her, and she said, "Oh, hey, anytime." You know, people say anytime. Some people don't mean anytime. Jump up in the real people don't really mean anytime, but it's actually true. Like, hey, anytime. Okay, let's do this. Like, it's power in partnership. It's power in reaching out, communicating with people. Like, actually try to build genuine relationships. It ain't about like being in a relationship with the person. Like, hey, this is a friendship or this is a partnership. Let's do this content together. See how this is, and go from there. Like, yeah. But I'm gonna end my rant. Back to about Bri. Then we don't go to this. So
no, we needed that.
Yeah. So I think a big one of the books that I read, some of it was called Find Your Why. Right? It tells you like I just said, telling you like what is something that like why you here, why you been on this earth and stuff. So like what's your why?
My why. Actually, you brought up a book. I read a book. I think it's called The Blessed Life by Robert Morris.
Oh yeah, Michael Tyler bring it. It's like when he got 2 books. Yes. Like that one, and I think it's another one. Yeah.
And that book, when I read that book, it really changed my. It didn't change my life, but it really changed my life. It did, because just knowing that I'm a giver. I love to give. I would give the shirt off my back. And when I read that book, just knowing to the extent of other people, the extent that they would give. It's like mind blowing. Like, you did what? You did this, you did that, and then the way that God gave back, it was like it's really obedience in your sacrifice. You know, when God tells you to do something, do it. And I really feel like that's my why. When God told me to do this, I questioned it for a little while because it was different, you know, and I didn't want people to judge me and just unsure of like, okay, is this really what you're telling me to do? But once I really got that confirmation, like, go do it. You know, this is what I want you to do. I was like, okay, obedience is better than sacrifice. And, you know, I know people going to look at me probably crazy. I'm going to get a lot of weird looks, a lot of people talking, but at the end of the day, this is what I was called to do. Like I say, some are called, some are sent, and some just went. And if you call, you know, you gotta. Well, for me, I had to step into that calling because it was gonna keep nudging at me until I did, until I did it. So
exactly.
I always tell people, no matter how weird, I always tell my clients, no matter how weird you may look to others, or no matter how different you may look, if it makes you happy, if you know that you're called to do it, do it. Do it.
I got you. Do it. Yeah, just go for it, for real.
Yeah.
I feel that wholeheartedly. Like when you're doing a purpose and doing something different, like it definitely happens. Like I remember one time I told somebody, because you know when you tell people from Memphis, they always have oh my gosh, like there's like the first reaction, like okay man, like, but I feel like I said man, when I come home, man, I feel like one day I'm gonna see somebody from high school or something, and they're like, you were never one of us. Like you'll be like, what did I do? But it's like when you think about it, it's like God given though. Like how can you or me be in situations where we are now, going through what we went through and being able to help other people in one of the top 3 crime cities in America? Like that's God. Like, no silver spoon situation. Like out the mud and still pushing through that's God. And that's why when I tell people my story, they be like, oh my gosh, like I don't know how you even got here. But I was like, it's really no answer but him. That's the only answer, because at the end of the day, he didn't deliver me in situations I'd be like, golly, like I remember when I was in the pandemic, boy, I was like trying to come home, and then they came out with the rule. They was like, well, if you getting out the military, well, you can get on a plane to go home. And I was like, this guy right there, this guy straight up, go and get me out here. Let me go get the plane, come back home, man. Like it's real true to life, seriously. Like when you are doing those things,
it's even funny you say that, because that was actually one of my first prayers when I kind of just, I guess, got woke and started my little spiritual journey. Was I'm ready to move. I can't be here. I don't want to be here. I gotta go. And that was my prayer every day. God, make a way for me to move. And he did not open that door, so it's meant to be.
Yeah, exactly. It is meant to be. He does those things, and he definitely reminds you that he's there and with you and stuff like that. And you see it with the fruits of your labor. You know, I think that's one of the biggest things is you're rewarded for. And like you were talking about before, like obedience. That part is key, because you can look at your life and be like, man, if I was a little bit more disciplined, I can get there. Or if I didn't eat out this time, if I didn't get to McDonald's, or if I went to the gym, you know, it can go on and on. But it's like your life can be different if you just make them simple decisions. Yep. Like you make over, I think it's like 10,000 decisions in a day or something like that. Like if you're making decisions, you just start making them, you know, more intentional. Okay, let's do this and this like that.
And that was another thing too that I realized. Just realizing that life is free will. We have the free will to make any choice we want. Like we cannot put that on nobody.
One of the only species to do.
Yeah. So it's like when I had that realization, like you made these decisions. You can't put the blame on nobody. I mean, yeah, it takes two to tango. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's always two sides to a story, but let's take account for your actions. You know, so it's like once I was able to start taking account for my actions. Okay, now we can see some growth. We can see some, you know what I'm saying? See some things.
Yeah, exactly.
Move and shake.
Yeah, exactly. At that point, you just like, okay, cool. Like I'm gonna do what I gotta do.
Right.
We gonna get it done. Type stuff. Yeah, like, yeah. It's but definitely, I invited you here because I just wanted to give you your flowers. Like let you know, like you're doing a good job and keep doing what you're doing because you have a purpose and you have a reason why you're here and you're fulfilling it. There's a lot of people that know what they're supposed to do and know why they're here, but they don't, and they don't put the work in to do it. You know, and it's sad, you know. But I hope more people can get from what we're talking about and stuff like that. Hey, like this is definitely something that you continue to do and stuff like that. Like and people need to reach out, man. Like this is a big thing. So I can say like reach out, man. Definitely talk to people that's going through stuff, man. Like if somebody going through something, reach out, man, and talk to them and stuff like that. Like, you don't know, nobody may be going through. And then on top of that, the people that have got to the other side of it, they can forever give you game, like, and teach you about it. Like how long you think it took you to get to where you're at now? Like, from you going through understanding your purpose and stuff to getting where now? Like, how long it's been, like, with you had to put time on it?
I mean, honestly, when I just kind of just sat down and just looked back over it, I've been really going through this process for some years now. I've been on one end of the spectrum, and then it's like God is bringing me to the other end of the spectrum. And I want to say maybe it started like 2017. I keep referring back to like
5, 6. Well, no. It's 2023 now.
4, so 7, 8 years now.
8 years. Did y'all hear that?
Yeah.
7 or 8 years.
Yeah. I've been on this journey. Like I said, when I just sat down to just look back over it, it's like you really been on this process. You just didn't know what it was until now. It's like, okay, now I get it.
You had the moments when you were younger. You was like, oh, I kept gravitating to this, and then I kept denying it, and kept gravitating to denying it. Like I did that to myself. Like I even saw a video of myself in 2016. I was in Korea, and I did like a 1-minute video talking about, I'm doing my YouTube channel. And I was like, I said, it was in 2016. I was like, what? And I ain't do nothing. I was just like, I said, bro, what are you doing? Like, I was like, what is what I did? But now I'm like, I feel unlocked now. Yeah. But understanding this, what I want y'all to know, like she just said, 8 years, man. If you're 21 years old, okay, you're gonna blow up when you're 29. Like, I mean, think about that. Yeah. The time is something that we've been seeing a lot where people have been having accelerated access very, very fast. Like, I know that is a thing, but you need to also understand that your path is your path. I think I seen a post. I never seen that post when like Morgan Freeman had his first big role at 50 or something like that. Like everybody did stuff later. Like the baby, he didn't have like his singles. He was 30 or something like that. Like those are ages and the time. Everybody's time and age is different with stuff. Like and your path is your path, and embrace that path and embrace the grind and struggle. You know, I seen something that said like, you watch all these movies, the super Spider-Mans, the Ant-Mans or whatever, and like you see them going through stuff, and they be going through the trenches, and they'll be knocked out. Like seeing Creed 3, like you see them down, like oh my god, like I just got knocked out or whatever it is, like, and you overcome it. Like this, your life. Yeah. Every day is a movie. Like your life is a movie, and you. But the thing about it is, you the one that's controlling it. You are in control of it for sure. Yeah. So. We just want to say bye, y'all. We just want to say bye, y'all, man. This is all we had to say. So thank you for coming. Thank you for being a part of this podcast. I appreciate you and giving your flowers. Like you definitely are an asset. And anybody that's in your life, like I'm pretty sure they happy to have you in their life because you definitely got that positive energy. Like I feel it. And this room is full of positive energy right now. So y'all have y'all a good day and everything, man. And thank y'all for watching.
Thank y'all. Appreciate it.